Hello, my name is Harry Tumbuatco. We're on the second part of the OFW Family Club. What exactly are we talking about? We're talking about the 10 million Filipinos who we regard as heroes, but who are subjugated by what we call government. Now, there's a lot of improvement, so our guest tells us. But what exactly is there and what is actually happening around the world? Anyway, I took a cue from the last portion of the first segment saying, is it possible that we have a representative, a congressman, who does not represent the OFWs, much less have a constituency, and for some reason or other was able to come in with the help of the COMELEC, of course with the deviousness of Smartmatic, to be the sitting congressman to represent nobody? Is this possible? With us, we have Roy Señeres Jr. of the OFW Family Club. Roy, tell us about this. Kasi yung kwento mo sa akin, nabigla ako. I mean, is it even possible? There's misrepresentation instead of being a representative, misrepresentative. Is it misrepresentation? Paano nangyari? Ano nangyari? Who is this guy?
I know the congressman personally. I viewed him as a friend or so, but now where he's on the other side of the fence insofar as the political spectrum is concerned, or insofar as the
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, Roy. Political spectrum. He is a party list whose constituent base is supposed to be the OFW.
Yes.
But is there any other OFW other than the OFW Family Club? You're the largest association, an NGO.
Yes.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes.
So how can, sino nire-representa niya, yung mga fake OFWs?
Well, the issue with this fellow is a lot of the things that I hear about him is that he represents the job providers because he is a recruitment agency owner.
Wait. Di ba conflict of interest yan? Job providers, he's on the other side. Hey, so the slaves are going abroad, which is really getting your goat in the first segment. I mean, kawawa, di ba? Yung mga heroes natin, we call them as heroes, when they leave their families to get a job, to get out of the caves, in your own words, to go out to have and look for food for their family. And here we are, a congressman at that, taking money from government to help those that we have, the OFWs are in direct conflict with.
Yes, because under the law, the recruitment agency and the foreign employer are viewed as one person.
Okay.
The reason for that law under the Migrant Workers Act is so that if there are still claims from the distressed OFW, if there are still claims that he or she wants to receive or get from the employer, and then the OFW is here in the home front, then they go after the agency. So indeed, you are correct that there is a prevailing conflict of interest.
A disconnect.
Yes, there's a disconnect because as a job provider or a recruitment agency owner, you are in all likelihood beholden to the employer.
Of course, where do your loyalties lie?
Yes, because
Kung saan ka kumikita.
that's where your money comes in.
O, siyempre.
So now, we do not know if deep in the core of his heart, if the OFW is really there.
But who is he serving? He's serving the employers.
Well, because of his background, because of his...
Who else can he represent?
Yes.
How can he say that he represents OFWs? Meron ba siyang constituent? Does he have card-bearing members?
No, this party list is a newly accredited party list. As a matter of fact, I would just be very honest, and these are facts. These are not made-up stories. That they use, because of them using the word OFW, it created confusion. Because in 2013, when we first ran as party list representative, as a party list rather, we were the first party list representing the overseas Filipino workers. That made it in Congress, and we were using OFW family.
Correct. And you had two nominees, not one. You made two.
Yes. So
Sa daming botante.
we were able to get almost 800,000 votes.
Imagine.
Which entitled us to 2 seats in Congress. But this time around, we did not make it because, number one, there was confusion because the word OFW was used by this incumbent party list now. And I'll tell you just a couple of brief stories. For example, my mother-in-law who campaigned hard for our party list, talked to her classmates, her friends in the Zonta, etc. And then later on, they communicated with her and told her that, Chiki, nilike ko na sa Facebook yung party list ng son-in-law mo, Axe OFW. Ay, mali. And then my eldest brother, Jay, told me that his friends, after voting in the precinct, his friends texted him.
Yes.
And sabi, pare, binoto ko na yung party list ninyo, Axe OFW. Nako, mali. So there was a confusion. And then in my Facebook Messenger,
Puro lahat ganun.
A lot of the OFWs were telling me that they were confused. They were even apologizing. They were telling me, sir, sorry, because nasa taas yung
AX, letter A.
Nasa taas yung sila, tapos nasa baba. Tapos ito pa yung masaklap, Harry, no? We were in 2013 OFW space family club.
Correct.
All right. The OFW is a standalone.
Correct.
All right. This time around, we were in the ballot OFWFC, one word. So there
FC.
was an FC.
Family club.
Family club.
Pero initial na lang.
Yes, we were there.
One word.
So there was an OFWFC. So the FC created confusion because we were in 2013 OFW family. But now we were subjected to be here in 2016 OFWFC. So that in itself also created confusion, and we found out from the COMELEC about this the very last minute. And then they were telling us, no, you cannot do anything anymore because on the following week we will print the nationwide ballots, etc., etc. So we were placed, our backs were placed against the wall. We had no options, but we had to proceed with the OFWFC as our name this recent election. And based on the stories that I told you, just amongst a few, it created confusion.
Who do you blame for an issue like that? The COMELEC or this sitting bogus congressman who may have worked manipulating the COMELEC based on the OFWFC? Who do you blame more? The guy who sits down or Bautista, who is being charged for multiple things? He should be for treason.
Well, both sides have to be looked at seriously.
Bakit pumayag ang COMELEC? Wala namang constituent base itong Axe COMELEC, Axe OFW. Ano sinabi niya constituency niya? Ginamit niya yung inyo?
Siguro may may magandang usapan na yung mga yan siguro. That's the only
Naku,
thing
pera-pera na naman.
That's the only thing.
Corruption!
That's the only thing I could think of. Because indeed, I know the people behind this party list, and they even attended our meetings, and I know them. And honestly, I don't think they have
Walang constituent base. Walang
or chapters
constituency.
like we do. We have one in Hong Kong, we have one in Taiwan, we have leaders here. And
Like you
can-
said,
I can
17, 18 years
yes,
building it.
I can text them now. Every day we activate new chapters. So, this party list, I don't know. I do give credit or weight to your thoughts that I believe there was some sort of an arrangement that went on that prejudiced us.
So kung ano-anong ginagawa nila sa Kongreso, kung ano man funds pumapasok, even just to maintain the office, diretso sa bulsa. Kasi wala naman silang kausap araw-araw eh. Sila rin nakikita-kita hatian ng pera. Parang ganon.
Well, for one, with all due respect to our fellow stakeholders, the job providers, we give them value, we give them credit, but it appears to me that the congressman now, his direction, his thoughts, his frame of mind is geared towards the, the industry of the job providers.
You know, that makes my heart
There
bleed.
was, like, for example, there is one House bill that he is, I don't know if he already, because I don't really keep track of his day-to-day thing, but I just hear it from, if we see each other in functions, or I read up on it. But there is this one House bill that he filed that is supposed to put a stop to the claim of the OFW once he or she signs a waiver abroad. Once you
Nako.
come back home, you can no longer file a case against your employer or the agency.
Naku, there
because
you
of the
go.
joint and
Protecting na
several.
naman the job
You know,
provider.
this is very beneficial to the job provider because it is less headache on their part. But however, we all know from stories that the OFW, when they are signing a waiver abroad on foreign soil, the surrounding circumstances are very intense. We are being forced.
Yes.
They are being threatened behind the scenes. You sign this, otherwise I'm not gonna buy your ticket to go home.
In duress.
And my goodness, the only thing the OFW needs at that point in time is a ticket.
Oh.
And this ticket will be withdrawn from me or
Yes.
will not be given to me if I do not sign this.
In
Once
duress
I
talaga.
sign this,
Sign in duress.
once I
Mali.
sign this, they go home and then they talk about it at the setting that we have now. The labor arbiters and the officials concerned, they give weight to the to that side that because after all, a waiver is a contract, and a contract has to be freely and intelligently entered into. Otherwise, it is voidable.
Correct.
So, the officials know this. And more often than not, they can still proceed to get their claims before the institutions concerned, like the NLRC or the POA, as the case may be. However, if this becomes into law, this bill of his, it will add teeth. It will close the doors on the OFW claimant, on the distressed overseas Filipino worker, insofar as his or her claims are concerned. So for me, this is just my opinion based on how I'm studying this. This is just one of the things that manifests that this fellow is pro recruitment agency, and it really compromises the well-being of the OFW. I would like to bring more one thing because we're talking about this.
Please.
We're talking about this guy. There is a video that came out recently. This guy accompanied an undersecretary of the DOLE. Please forgive me, I forgot his name because the video was very fast. But the purpose of this meeting, they flew to Hong Kong, and the purpose of this meeting is to engage in a dialogue with the OFW community leaders there for purposes of tackling the issue of the overseas employment certificate, which according to the Filipino groups there, it's hampering them. It is like it
becomes
adds
adds
it burdens
burden.
them. Because there's a certain cost, and
Siyempre.
they have to have it processed, and it takes a while. So it is a burden towards them. So they want to do away with the overseas
The
employment
certificate.
certificate. And in that regard, they wanted to engage in a dialogue with the DOLE about this. But it so happened that the congressman joined the DOLE representative to Hong Kong. But according to the OFW community, he was not directly invited. They wanted to talk with the DOLE. But anyway, this was just in the video. The video that came out,
Yes.
my goodness, they started engaging in a heated argument. The OFW community leader and the congressman, Bertiz.
The
They
bogus congressman.
they started to get in a heated argument to the point where it was disclosed by him, the OFW leader, Ginoong Villanueva, I believe that's his name. He revealed it. He told him that you are not an OFW representative, but you are a recruiter. So I believe that hit a spot in his system.
Did he react?
He reacted.
Lost his temper.
Lost his temper. He reacted violently, and he told the OFW community leader, si Ginoong Villanueva, na ikaw naman undocumented ka.
Nako.
You know, so it got personal. Now, if you talk of the OFW, my goodness, we have to be very sensitive on how you categorize them. Because, for one, with all due respect to the congressman, I believe you should issue an apology for saying that. You know why? The mandate of our government is to protect the overseas Filipino workers. When he took his oath of office,
Yes, that's what it is.
you protect the overseas Filipino worker. You do not say, you do not identify anymore whether in the service of our Filipinos abroad. You do not identify anymore in your heart and in your mind whether the person is documented or undocumented. That's why my father, during his time in Congress, would always bring this up. You know, can we just talk about this whole undocumented? Or let's focus on the problem of the subject. Let's welcome him to our house here at the Philippine Overseas Labor Office and sit him down or her down and talk to them. But if you identify whether they're undocumented or documented, I mean, that's SOP. But if you highlight it for purposes of following through whether you will be helping this person or not,
It all goes downhill from there.
Yes. So this person, it showed the very core of his sentiment by saying that you are undocumented. You know, so, you know, this person, for one thing, the OFW community leader, when I read the comments online, you know, he is a very a renowned, you know, a well-known leader for several years in Hong Kong. He had it's a very well-known
At
group.
least siya may constituency.
Yes.
Itong congressman, wala.
They are my counterparts, the Migrante group.
Okay.
You know, so maybe we have different opinions on things, but I accord them the honest and due respect because, you know, we work together indirectly or otherwise. When there's an OFW concern, I hear their leaders come into, you know, so bottom line, they do an effective job in clamoring the government in order to address the problems of the OFW. So I give them a lot of respect. And insofar as this leader is concerned in Hong Kong, my God, you know, he's a well-respected leader. He's loved by the Filipino community there. And then the congressman comes here with a very adversarial, you know, mode.
Let's complicate this issue a little bit more. I heard they want to now tax VAT to the OFWs. Is this correct? That's been going around Facebook at least. I'm not sure I have followed it. But there was a move to tax the OFWs on their incomes being remitted or repatriated back in the country. Where would you stand there? Of course, you'll say immediately no.
I would still say no.
You are a true advocate of these heroes that we call, who are actually slaves.
No more. Do not tax them anymore with regard to their income because they're already contributing, like you mentioned earlier, 30 billion
That's
US
right.
dollars
Correct.
annually because of their remittances.
And growing.
And the 30 billion, my goodness, base sa Bangko Sentral, yan ang lifeblood ng ating ekonomiya. You know, the economists would time and time again say that lifeblood, money is the lifeblood of the economy.
Correct.
And the OFW, to the tune of 30 billion US dollars, that is the lifeblood that you are infusing to our economy.
Yun lang ang official, hindi pa yung unofficial.
Yes, so that's it. Why? Stop it. Stop taxing. Stop talking about
Baka
tax
na naman
anymore.
yan yung bogus congressman.
You know?
Baka that's one of his...
I don't know. I don't know.
Gusto niya saksakin ng OFW. Baliktad.
No.
For all you know. I mean, parang... I don't know. I'm overwhelmed in my mind how it can happen, how the COMELEC allowed it to happen by manipulating the title, the name, AX and OFW, and then corrupting the name Family Club, which was already there, into FC. Diba? OFW FC. Of course, that's how you confuse the people and got the votes. So obviously, may conspiracy yung dalawa.
That's logically that's how it's panning out.
Well, we've got another 2 years. The poor OFWs are going to have to bear the brunt of the idiocy or whatever this guy is up to, di ba, for on behalf of the employers. But at least the plight of the OFWs with the OFW Family Club being there, and you've continued it, whether you're in Congress or not, whether there are rewards or not, regardless, you have pursued to maintain the advocacy you and your father have started, pushed through, and still maintain. So at least the plight of the OFWs are still very much in order. Alam mo, nakakalito rin yan. Ladies and gentlemen, ingatan nyo rin yun, ano? Yung OFW, pag pumunta kayo sa Facebook, pumunta kayo sa website, alam mo, nanloloko rin yung dalawa na yun. Yung isa fake, yung isa real. Yung totoo are OFW Family Club. Yung may isa pa dyan, fake yan. Kagagawan lang yan ng kung sino mang gusto para makaupo sa Kongreso. But we have reached the top of the hour again, and I'm glad. While I always say priority is federalism because this is what's confronting us, the OFWs are equally of prior importance simply because these are the ito ang roots natin to our economy and to the very same people we call Filipinos, much less heroes. Final words from you to our viewers. What would you like the President to hear, at least, which in whatever way, or Alvarez, the Speaker of the House, or whatever, or your message to the OFWs?
Insofar as the President is concerned, I salute you, Mr. President. You're doing a tremendous job. Your compassion for our overseas Filipino workers, we felt it, we see it. And you gained a landslide from the overseas Filipino workers. Please continue to protect them. Please make sure that the Department of Foreign Affairs and the Department of Labor and Employment has the budget to equip our assistants to nationals and our officials at the Philippine Overseas Labor Offices to do what they need to do to address the concerns of the distressed OFWs. For example, if we can enhance or initiate the creation of the Assistance to Nationals Rescue Unit, like a SWAT team, to work with the foreign recruitment agencies to rescue the distressed household service workers who are being exposed to so much vulnerability, such as rape, acts of lasciviousness, etc. These are an ongoing thing. So we should add more to the budget of these two giant institutions and place more competent people, attachés there in the foreign soil, in the host country, particularly in the Middle East. And please, as well, I want to, we're speaking of a message to the President. Please call through the DFA Secretary, call your ambassadors. You have a rebriefing. Tell them to stand up as the surrogate parents of our OFWs. Tell them to stop sitting behind their desk and sipping hot coffee or attending functions, in the diplomatic functions. No, they should spend more time in jail, in the hospitals. You give that marching order to your ambassadors, like how you do in your orchestration of the anti-drug campaign. That's how the OFWs will really feel that we care for them. And we care for you, our dear OFW, the OFW Family Club, and my good friend Harry. We're just here to listen to your concerns, and we will be here for you to the best we can. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, there you are, straight in your face, with passion, with a lot of thought. And alam niyo po, it's sad. May representative tayo na fake. May mga ambahador tayo na nasa likod ng silya, nagkakape, lumalabas, ayaw magtrabaho. Alam niyo po, ang Pilipino lang ang kaya tumulong sa Pilipino. So kailangan magising na po lahat. We hope you've enjoyed our program, and on to next week. I'm sorry, I'm going back to federalism. Either which way you look at it. Maraming salamat po. Roy, thank you very much.
You are what you watch.